not seen Galio and J4 being locked in for the last quite a few games here. So Golden Guardians drafting a very strong 2v2, but that being said, you are giving up some of that potential hard engage, which has been very successful for them.
It was not super successful in the last game. Contracts got absolutely outpaced in the jungle, completely fell behind the curve of the game. Santorin was relevant as a third solo laner in terms of his economy and his impact in the fights for Flyquest. Flyquest are going to go ahead and grab that Morgana. Must have been watching Crumbs' segment, thinking about, all right, what are we going to put this guy on? And once again, Poe Belter for Irelia.
Yeah,
or Irelia for Poe Belter.
Morgana going to be very, very powerful. We are expecting it to be a support pick for the Morgana, but it can also go mid. You can put Irelia top. So these are flexes you do have to worry about. And will be interesting to see how that is going to match up. Ranged advantage certainly in the bot side if this does become the support for JJ. Going up against Deathly and Olay, you are going to have the poke advantage. You're going to be able to certainly deal with them fairly well in that 2v2, but Braum Lucian has a really strong all-in and also fantastic gank assist.
Not a big fan of the Lissandra pick for the side of Golden Guardians. Already talked about how it doesn't feel stylistically like a Froggen champion. We'll see if this plays out differently from the first time we saw it, but Golden Guardians have made the important adaptation of banning out the Swain.
Yep, so they may be saying, hey, that is the only real issue with the pick was actually that we couldn't deal with that Swain. We didn't have the DPS to answer that. Galio going to be banned out, so if they don't want to take it, then they don't want their opponents to actually be able to grab it either. Swain will not be able to be there for the answer. If you are going to go for the same style draft, I mean, this is basically what they drafted before. You know, they did have Lucian as the AD. I do believe it was Lucian and Galio, though, as well as the Lissandra. They're going to need more DPS, certainly across the board, I think. So you're looking at some sort of a carry in the top lane. Perhaps here for Haunter. We'll see if Flyquest wants to target that. GP taken out, which makes sense.
Exactly what you were thinking there. Keeping him away from something with some rich potential.
This is another answer for that, right? You know, you bring in more consistent DPS from your jungler. And Santorin did play that Kindred early on in the series. This is going to be the second play here for contracts in spring. And he's going to be on that Kindred. So if he can have a good game for himself, certainly can bring that teamfight DPS, is a big threat. Lee Sin, though, can be, especially early on, a very strong answer to that Kindred. You can win the duels. You can kick him out of his ultimate.
And the kicking out of the ultimate is the one thing I always look at when you're up against Kindred. How much displacement do you have? Because it can really, really mess up how good that champion's ulti is. Final pick coming in for Flyquest. Hovering back and forth between a few things. Don't be bamboozled. It's never actually real.
Okay, Zoe. That's going to be the pick here for Poe Belter.
That one's real.
So one of his most played throughout this split, has not been able to bring it out just yet in this series. And now we find out, is this Lissandra top or is it mid? You have the ability to counterpick. You know that it's Irelia in the top lane. You know that this is Zoe in the mid lane. They are going to have that final counterpick, and it's not going to be a lane counter if we get the Ornn. It's going to be about the team fight. It's going to be about the engage. They gave up the J4 and Galio. They are replacing that with the Ornn to give themselves some reliable, very powerful engage coming out of that top lane. It is also worth noting how strong he is if you get to that really long game. Because of the passive, you can upgrade your teammates' items.
Also explains why they took Lucian Braum early. Flyquest was defaulting to picking Braum in first rotation, which is really bad for Golden Guardians if they want to pick Ornn because of how good Braum's shield is at blocking the Ornn horn. Deny that one, hold Ornn till last, get him with the surprise left hook, and that's the Ornn. I want to see how well this works out for Haunter there in the top side, because we've seen this champion absolutely decimate the back lines of teams that aren't ready for that level of engage.
And there's a lot of squishy members you can get onto and knock up with this Ornn engage. Black Shield will be an answer that can defend one of your carries, certainly not all, but it's going to be a very exciting one. And I do think, again, top lane will be critical. Haunter has been so strong, I think, throughout this series. Viper having an incredible last team fight in the fourth game, pushing them to game 5 with that Rise flank, killing off both the carries. And if he can get ahead, maybe he can just make this game about him once more.
This is it. 4 games so far have brought us to even ground. One more time on the Summoner's Rift here today between these two squads to decide who goes on to the semifinals. And who watches the rest of the playoffs from home? Fans of both teams here in the audience. Everybody's cheering for their squad to be able to bring home the W on this one. It all comes down to one last game.
Flyquest faithful here every week.
Time after time. Death, taxes, and Flyquest fans having the thunder sticks ready to go. Life has a few certainties, Mr. Azael, and those are all some of them. As we've made our way on to Summoner's Rift now, everybody out into the river. Nothing too interesting happening just yet. Wards being placed down in the pixel brushes to make sure no delayed invades.
Yeah, a couple of things worth pointing out is it is double exhaust for the supports here, which is interesting because we've seen quite a bit of exhaust this series, but in general, throughout the year, we've seen so little exhaust. It is very often the Ignite that has been brought. Instead, pretty defensive masteries, runes rather, here for the two sides. You know, you are going to have Guardian on both the Morgana and the Braum as well as exhaust. It is going to be on hit for Turtle once again. You can tell by the lethal tempo, and Pobelter having to play that cleanse tax going up against Lissandra on Zoe. You're going to be so susceptible if you don't have that.
And I want to see the state of the mental of both of these teams because it has to be pretty compromised, I would think, after last game. Even if you won it, that's definitely a taxing one. So I want to see who's able to keep their cool here in game number 5. Red buff started off by the side of Golden Guardians. Wanted to make sure he doesn't lose patience, so Contracts can steal that one away for himself. Smite it to make sure. Always like to see that on the invade. Make sure you smite it. They can't steal it away with something cheeky over the wall.
And Santorin, you know, he had to just immediately leave and now do a leashless blue. So I'm going to be interested to see what kind of path Contracts goes if they just decide to take up vertical jungling. If that is the choice, you will be kind of sacrificing perhaps some additional camps. Haunter holding the wave near his turret. He doesn't want it to bounce and then put him in kind of a difficult situation where he has to push up, knowing that Lee Sin is going to be on his side of the map.
RNG favors Golden Guardians this time around. The coin flip on the Scuttle Crabs did go into the bottom side. That's the one that Contracts has priority on, so that is going to mean one Kindred mark instantly over there to the Golden Guardians jungle.
The next thing that remains to be seen is, will he actually go for the red buff? You know, will he actually try to get over there? As they do get the Braum passive stun on the Turtle, but it's definitely that ends up taking the worst end of that trade regardless. And you are up against that range matchup, and Pobelter.
Contracts flashing in after Pobelter. A cleanse will be enough to get Pobelter out of trouble, but a little bit of damage will continue to make sure this lane stays in the favor of Golden Guardians. Pobelter just trying to clear out some waves here. Froggen will shove up, and you'll see Santorin head towards that enemy jungle. He knows that Contracts isn't on this side of the map, so he decides, I'll grab a red buff.
Yep, and because he saw that Contracts was doing that, you knew he wasn't going to go try to actually get the 3 buff. He was going back towards vertical jungling. Will work his way now down towards those Krugs. We'll see if Turtle and JJ can have anything to say about that, but Haunter now in a pretty awkward position because he knows he's playing weak side of the map. He knows his jungler's down on the very opposite corner, and the wave is pushing away from Haunter. So he is going to be in a spot where very likely Lee Sin is behind you, and you know that. So that's why Viper is going to hold the wave. He wants it to not crash so that Haunter has to walk forward and kind of expose himself, and he has successfully held the ranged minions out of turret range. So, you know, Haunter either just has to sit in the bush and get experience or expose himself to a gank, and now he shows, so Santorin potentially could try something.
The choice is exposure to the gank, but I feel like this is like calling your bluff. It's saying, all right, I'm willing to bet you're not going to go after this because you expect I would only do this if I had somebody nearby.
Yeah, it's
surprised I don't.
And also, I mean, Viper was down a level. He had been kind of chunked out, right? So it is a full HP Ornn, and you know, if you go over there and you show and it fails, you know, you're wasting time. You're perhaps going to lose additional camps. So it is just the continued farm here for Contracts, and
giant minion wave too.
Yeah, does get a little bit of an advantage there.
Viper will now push things back out, recognizing that he no longer has the opportunity to really punish his opponent like that. However, he does have the CS lead, considering a lot was heading towards him. Some of that will be made up here as Haunter gets the opportunity to catch up, but pretty even state of things in the top side of the map.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this bottom lane does continue. You know, as the base was actually canceled there, so Haunter just holding on, trying to keep Viper around for a little bit longer. And Ornn can trade quite well with a lot of these melee matchups early on with that Brittle, and you know, if you can get the knock-up, you can actually put out quite effective trades, especially with Grasp in those early levels. It takes Aurelia, a little bit more time to kind of get those items. And in they go, perhaps? Nope.
Santorin not going to be
mark.
caught out by the claw there, but with a mark spawning on the crab, this is something you want to contest. And the teleport coming in means Flyquest are not willing to just let their opponents take this one away. Froggen's in a lot of trouble. Flashes away from the paddle star. Flash no longer available here. Pobelter over the wall. He misses the trouble bubble, but it's still first blood Flyquest.
Yeah, gets a flash to follow, taking it from Froggen, and the TP in does end up working out as it meant Haunter and Contracts can't actually help out to fight there. So first blood over to Pobelter in game 5, and the mark will go to Santorin. So Kindred gonna be missing out on that. Nice early play from Flyquest. And here it is one more time. The setup was there. Ward is down. They call for the TP. Haunter has not based, so he's certainly at a weaker position. And Santorin just following, chaining his slows. He had the red buff slow. He ward hops up. He chilling smites him. Pobelter grabs the flash from Froggen. Despite the nice sidestep on that sleep, there's enough damage and no more escapes available for Froggen.
Good job there from Flyquest. Nice and early on here in this game, getting themselves on the board. Also importantly, it goes over to Pobelter, making sure that that huge damage carry in the Zoe is online. The further ahead of the curve of the game she is, the easier it is to one-shot.
And it has often felt like so goes mid lane, so goes the game, right? When you think back to the previous Lissandra game, it was Froggen actually getting bullied by that Swain, and that game certainly was heavily in the favor of Flyquest. Last game, more of a kind of even affair, I suppose, but definitely Pobelter, when he gets an advantage, that has really spelled good things for Flyquest, as Golden Guardians feel very, very dependent on the success of Froggen as this huge threat.
You want to start talking about spelling some good things? Well, Infernal is a word the Golden Guardians like to spell right about now. Pobelter over the wall, trying to maybe make something happen here. Paddle Star coming through. Will not connect onto the Drake. This should be easily smiteable by Contracts. That one is secured by Golden Guardian.
Yeah, that's a big one. Grabbing an early Infernal, and the next dragon is Infernal. So that means team fights, that means pressure around that objective, and it's going to be a lot about which teams are online early enough to do it. I honestly kind of favor in a 5v5 Golden Guardians early on. When you're looking at some of these champions, I feel like Ornn, Lissandra, Lucian are generally ready to go pretty much from the start of the game. When you have those ultimates, you're going to be very, very powerful. So we'll see if Flyquest wants to opt into a fight. It can make you pretty susceptible as this Varus kind of wandering into one of those open style areas.
Pretty even farm in the solo lanes here so far. Biggest discrepancy is on this bottom side of the map, where Definitely has built himself up about a 15 lead over Wild Turtle on the Varus. We saw this Varus win lane earlier today, but now it's Lucian who's really got his number.
Yeah, Lucian, very strong early laner, certainly, and also this is on hit, which I think turns on later compared to kind of the poke style build. But we'll see how Turtle is going to do going forward, because he was massive last game with that on-hit build. He hit full build by the end of it and was really such a huge threat for Flyquest, playing out a lot of those team fights very, very well. Never really caught out of position, it feels like, whatsoever in that last game either.
Definitely will just continue farming up here. Remember, the Lucian Braum, one of those lanes that's just well known for how strong it is in a 2v2 as well. So likely not going to see Flyquest trying to make any moves against them unless the jungler is going to be showing up. And Santorin is on the top side of the map right now as Contracts shows up just in time to see the crab stolen away. Contracts will walk up into the brush here. Viper's going to be the target. Horn comes through, able to find the knockup onto 2. Taking Viper very low, looking to maybe finish him off if they can. Santorin going to be taken almost down now as well. It's 1 down. Can they make it a second? The Drowsy comes out. The Ornn can't complete the chase.
On the side.
And now Pobelter's going to be locked down by Froggen. Cleanse is popped. 1 kill over to the side of Golden Guardians. Won't be able to make anything else happen just yet. Lamb's Respite still up and ready to go. Pobelter still walking forward. Does not have flash. Santorin doesn't have it either, so won't be able to chase.
Yeah, it is the trade of flashes.
But
the sleep
Pobelter. Okay, Pobelter got the sleep down that time. That was a very important bubble.
Yeah, it definitely was, or he could have been perhaps just chased down with that Kindred E landing. And well-played team fight, honestly, or rather 2v2 from Contracts and Haunter. Here it is one more time, and it is Viper and Santorin that are closer to the Kindred, so you think, okay, well, they can go for this, but then Contracts flashes back towards Haunter, the double knock-up there from Haunter, and all that time, Contracts is getting damage down. Santorin falls, and that was a mark as well. Viper barely able to get out thanks to some nice peel from Pobelter with that sleep, but They're not able to quite get down Pobelter. They do force out the cleanse, so they could look to try to return when the ultimate is up before that cleanse is back for Pobelter.
Important distinction between these junglers too. Chilling Smite versus Challenging Smite. The blue Smite is much better for setting up plays and getting yourself in a position to maybe land a big kick, but when it comes down to two guys walking straight at each other from each side, red Smite's always going to have the edge.
Yeah, it really is very, very powerful in that regard. And this wave is pushing towards Haunter. Contracts waiting in this brush for a potential counter gank, or even if Viper steps too far forward, they could look for something, but it's a tough play to make happen when you don't have the ultimate on the Ornn, so just going to be sitting there to cover this top laner, and not much else will come of it.
Game very even between the two sides. Still a few hundred gold lead here for Flyquest, thanks to the farm they've managed to grab themselves in these solo lanes. A little bit of an edge in the jungle there too. You can see Santorin hanging around the mid lane just in case anything's going to happen. Not really many camps to farm on this side of the map, so we'll head towards his top side now as Contracts clears out his own Grom.
And so far, a lot of vision for Flyquest over by this next Infernal. You can actually see this whole line all across the mini-map of wards that they do have. They're really sitting in a good spot for that, but they're looking for JJ. Here comes Contracts.
JJ's not in a good spot. More auto attacks going to be flying out. Contracts has to pop Lamb's Respite. He's taken down very low, jumps forward and shoots him down. It's definitely grabbing the kill credit.
Yeah, they're going to get that kill, and Froggen sent back as the sleep did land, is able to kind of buffer the claw to get out, but now 40 seconds on the Infernal. You need to see teams resetting now, looking for it. If Contracts died now, it would be bad.
Contracts walks up, places the ward down in the brush, is not picked off by Pobelter. That one had to have you sweating.
Yeah, definitely. You can see Froggen, though, pushing out mid lane, trying to buy him some time, and it's Santorin on the Rift Herald. He should have time to kill this and then potentially move down for the Infernal, but Blade of the Rune King completed now for both of these bot laners. We'll see who's going to be the first one to make the move towards this second Infernal, which would be so big if Golden Guardians can get that double advantage, and Flyquest want to even it out.
If you get the Rift Herald, you can also grab it, immediately just chuck it into some other lane, and say, hey, go answer this thing. We're going to grab Infernal Drake.
Yeah, that's something that really does demand that attention, especially pre-14 minutes when turret plates are available. You don't want to just be giving over those turret plates for free. So Santorin, as you call, could actually drop it mid lane. We'll see if he wants to do it, because Lee Sin is actually weaker in a team fight with the Rift Herald there because you don't have access to your Trinket Ward.
Right.
You know, you're not going to be able to go for the Ward Hop, but Contracts may just get exploded.
TP coming in. Contracts is destroyed. Pobelter makes sure he lands the paddle star, but now the Winter's Bite coming in, the damage stacking up. Pobelter getting himself away, and critically, Golden Guardians do not get the opportunity to answer.
Yeah, the move speed on that Spell Thief there for Zoe, allowing Pobelter to just run out. But Contracts is respawning, and the fact that they pushed Pobelter out means no team had enough of an advantage to actually take the Infernal. So Contracts is up now. He will be running down here. We'll see if Golden Guardians can actually just kind of push them back for long enough for their jungler to rejoin, because then they're in, again, a pretty good spot to threaten taking this.
Wild Turtle, as soon as that claw came out from Froggen, you saw two different shields just be immediately put onto him. Right this way, Mr. Turtle. We'll get you out of danger.
Yeah. You gotta escort the VIP, man. Turtle gonna be so important. You know, the biggest source of consistent damage here is Contracts gets welcomed to Zoe, does walk forward, hit by the Sleepy Trouble bubble, and certainly is a lot of trouble there. Boom! Bubbled. Now you see him, now you don't. Contracts is like, yep. We've all been there, but I know that feeling.
We have all felt the wrath of the trouble bubble as the Rift Herald is dropped mid, and this is what I was talking about. This can give you some priority over the Drake Pit. Also just give you that turret plating money. Pobelter hanging out nearby saying, all right, if he steps forward, I have the opportunity to at least threaten him with the trouble bubbles. That's 320 gold in the pocket of Pobelter as he is able to be nearby for those turret plates.
This battle for vision has been huge, and now Ornn TPing in.
Ornn coming in means Flyquest might be in some trouble here on the bottom side. Ornn is going to be sounded. There goes the ulti. Damage coming out. JJ going to be taken very low. More auto attacks coming through. Contracts grabbing the kill, and that is Golden Guardians finding the pick they need. They head over to the Drake.
Great engage, but at the same time, Pobelter actually chunked out Froggen. Froggen had to use his ultimate, and he's back to base, so we'll see if they can even try to take it. Right now, it's Viper on that top lane turret. If it's just the one kill for the TP, you have to say that's totally fine for Flyquest. They want to start it up. They are starting it up now. But TP is available for Viper, so we'll see if they can secure it.
Ole throwing out the shield right now. Inferno Drake going to be taken down to half. In the pit, stays that Braum. He's going to be taken so very low. Ole in some trouble. Turtle grabbing the kill credit onto him. Pobelter now going to be barely getting away with his own life. Vanguard's Edge makes its way into the fight. Viper's managed to find 3. Lamb's Respite will keep them alive. But here comes Flyquest. Haunter's trying to hobble away. Frog is the last man standing. Turtle smells blood in the water. A double kill for Viper and an ace for Flyquest.
It's a 5-for-0 ace at the Inferno. What a decisive fight there for Flyquest as they're able to absolutely turn it around. Again, Pobelter too fast with the Spell Thief, getting out with that bonus move speed. They get the Inferno, they get 5 kills, they get first turret, and the game just got so tough for Golden Guardians.
Those are the kinds of plays that define games. If Flyquest manages to snowball the game off of that play, which is very, very possible, you go back and you look at that play because that's what changed everything. We were on such even footing, and now Flyquest just feels like they gained so very much.
And you've got to give so much credit to Pobelter, because when Golden Guardians pulled the trigger on the initial play and they TP'd down Haunter, they kill off JJ, but at the same time, Pobelter had pushed Froggen back to base, which meant they couldn't start up the Dragon. They have to wait for so long. That gave Viper time, to get his wave pushed up, to TP down, for everyone to come back to that fight. And again, Golden Guardians keep trying to pick off Pobelter, but he keeps being so fast with the additional summoners he's picking up and that Spell Thief movement speed. 3-man top, though, looking for Viper, but Santorin is here.
Here we go. Haunter starting things off. Ornhorn has been sounded. Viper going to be dashing around left, right, and center, looking to buy himself some time. Stunned up, shut down. Golden Guardians get their man and get out.
Yeah, big shutdown for them there. They need something to start working for them as they are pretty far behind. Here this is one more time. The sleep lands onto Ole. He is pushed completely out of the fight. And then look at this. They're on to Pobelter. They're trying to catch up to him, but he's too damn fast. Zoe gets out. Viper comes in from behind. 3-man stun there. Pobelter following up, perfectly timing the Paddle Star out of that Lamb's Respite. They take him down, and then Turtle flashes forward, snipes down Froggen, and another turret falling their way. It is one traded back on the top side, but look at the damage from the solos coming out from Flyquest there. That was enormous from Viper and Pobelter.
Viper's fangs are fully reared and ready to go. This man is looking to seriously end this series in style. Their team up now 3,000 gold. Flyquest sitting in the lead, tied up on those Infernal Drakes ever so critically, and we're moving closer and closer towards the point where Baron will once again become an element.
And you got to look, where is the gold on these teams, right? And you look at the carries here across at Flyquest, all of these guys sitting in such a good position. They are the ones who have grabbed all of the kills. They're so powerful at this point in the game. Pobelter is sitting at about 10 CS per minute. He has double Spell Pen, Ludens, and a large rod on top of that. He is so far ahead of Froggen at this point in the game, and certainly has hit that threshold where you get slept, someone blocks it or you die, right?
Yeah.
And that is pretty much it, unless you are Braum and you have your shield up, or you are Haunter and you're so tanky that maybe you can withstand that. But definitely for Froggen, for contracts, one sleep is death.
Sub 2 minutes on both the next Drake and the Baron. Next Drake will be Ocean, and a single Ocean 20 minutes into the game is honestly pretty low priority for both teams, so don't expect this to be something that everybody's going to rush into, just 10-man dog pile, whoever gets it, gets it. Probably not what we're going to see happen. Golden Guardians may just abdicate that one, allow themselves some more time to scale up. As you already mentioned about the Ornn, as he gets further into the game, we will have those Ornn item upgrades for the side of Golden Guardians, so we'll see what they can do with those.
Yeah, the question just becomes, are Golden Guardians even comfortable taking this late when you have the Lucian, when you don't really have the big split push threat, right? Sure, they have people that can answer, but you give Aurelia enough time in a side lane, certainly in the later stages of the game, that's who you're going to prioritize in that 1v1 against Ornn. That can become pretty difficult. Varus, certainly a monster in the later game stages, going to be putting out more DPS on average, you would expect, than the Lucian. So we'll see if they can actually force these fights. And if they can find those pickoffs, you know, utilizing the Ornn ultimate, I think is going to be such a critical part of their success or failure in this game.
Absolutely. Black Cleaver now done on the Lee Sin as well, so plenty of bruiser stats ready to go here on this guy. Flash also nearly available for Santorin. Such a critical spell on Lee Sin, 15 seconds or so away right now. That's what determines whether or not you can make that huge play, starting the fight, knocking somebody out of position. Granted, you're kind of going to need to do it on the Kindred or the Lucian. Froggen just has too many ways to make that work out for him. Hey, thanks for the free positioning. I'm just going to ult myself in the middle of your team. But still, plenty of opportunity for playmaking there. Wild Turtle firing off an arrow, not going to find anyone. Flyquest moving into enemy territory. Considering they've got the mid lane and bottom lane tier 1s down, it's pretty safe to move up here and sit down some wards.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to try to take away whatever they can. Golden Guardians getting mid lane priority, though. They're shoving in to try to threaten this turret, and Viper is coming over. 10-man mid. We'll see if there's going to be a fight.
Binding found its way onto Haunter. Ornhorn's coming in, but the sleep has already made its way onto the Golden Guardians line. It's only onto Ole, who's going to be bound up here yet again. The Braum tries to stay alive. Lamb's Respite looking to do the work it can. Ole still barely getting himself away. Viper into the back line. JJ going to be dead. Ole now to support for support. Viper's able to grab himself one kill, but now he falls to Contracts, and Golden Guardians win the fight 2-1.
Yeah, Golden Guardians getting a couple big kills for themselves. There's so many summoners expended, though, to get away. You can see Flyquest is sitting on so many more of these summoners and do still have, I think, priority around this dragon. We'll see if they're going to try to back off, but will still be a tough fight to take for Golden Guardians as Froggen gets chunked out. They don't have the cooldowns. Whoa!
Pobelter continuing to press forward on this Zoe, continuing to land bubble after bubble. It's nap time at the Golden Guardians house.
My
as
God.
he just chases everyone down. Look at the move speed on this man. What? Point blank paddle star. Quick, quick, boom.
Pobelter is just taking over this game, chasing them across the whole map, grabbing summoner after summoner with the Spell Thief there. He has just been such a difference maker in this critical game number 5.
Another Drake secured in the meantime by Flyquest, as now we'll see if Turtle can get himself out of danger. Gonna be tagged up with the concussive blows, but there's the black shield, keeping him safe for now. Froggen moving forward, not gonna take that claw. Does not want to risk jumping into something like a Zoe. They had no vision on him. Golden Guardians gets nothing.
But that's double TP expended for that play, which nothing came from it whatsoever, right? They don't even get a summoner out. So here this is one more time, 5-man mid. They hit the binding, but then it's Ole gets tagged by Turtle's ultimate. Everyone just focusing down on this Braum. They are kind of getting zoned out by the rest of the squad. It was a good ultimate from Haunter to try to peel, and you can see him going forward now on the side. Flash ultimate in from Froggen, and then Haunter and definitely go in on JJ. That is the price of playing that range support sometimes. You are so squishy. Viper chasing forward, gets a kill onto the support, but does give up his life in the exchange. But critically, when you looked at the summoners, so many more were still available for Flyquest. So despite the fact that they were down numbers, they were in a better position to actually take that fight, and that is why we saw Pobelter going off, chasing so aggressively into his opponents, because Kindred, Lissandra, all these champions, Ornn, without their ult, they're so much less threatening.
Oh, absolutely. Final tier 1 turret also taken down now by the side of Flyquest, who, considering they've taken down everything in the outer ring, are now tasked with pushing further into enemy territory, sitting down some wards, pushing up, and looking to make a play like that. Sometimes we see teams sort of hit a roadblock here, wait for the Baron, set up there instead. We'll see how Flyquest wants to play this one.
Next one, gonna be Infernal. We saw how much attention that drew last time from these two squads, and getting vision control is gonna be so critical because it's almost impossible to fight forward into a fed Zoe. Like, you have to play so damn safe, so if it's Flyquest with vision control around that dragon, I don't think Golden Guardians can really even check in without just potentially just losing instantly off that, because if you lose a horrible fight by dragon, now you're gonna lose Baron too, so they have to be so careful, and that's why Flyquest is prioritizing getting all these pinks down, getting these vision. You see Pobelter sitting around these pink wards. He's just going to keep fishing because anytime he hits a bubble, they got to leave or they're going to die.
And this isn't just Zoe that can pick you off, remember. So let's say the bubble misses.
Yeah.
You've still got Morgana. You've still got Varus. You've still got all these tools
Lee
that
Sin
can catch you out. Yeah, Lee Sin with that flash ready to go has a hell of an ability to initiate. There's a root finding its way onto Contracts. Very nice Unbreakable from Ole to stop the piercing arrow.
Yeah, not getting too much with that was Turtle, but
all right.
Now the ulti.
Here we go. Haunter trying to fire it off. Wild Turtle's forced to get himself away from that one. JJ is going to be kept safe by the power of the Black Shield. Meanwhile, the Tier 2 falls on the top side, and again, Golden Guardians will not find anything for their efforts.
Yeah, that was Froggen's ultimate into that Black Shield, so a great job there by JJ getting that up, and Froggen maybe had time, I think, to kind of recognize the Black Shield was up and not use it. Either way, they do at least get the Turtle Flash, which would be critical for the next fight, right? You know, the Infernal's going to be up in 2 minutes. That maybe gives you the opportunity to kind of dive in on that guy with Ornn and Lysandra and try to knock down Turtle, which could be a way to win a team fight.
But we are not back in the olden days of pre-multiple nerfs Ornn, where the cooldown was 30 seconds or something ridiculous. It is about 1.5 minutes until that can come off cooldown. We're halfway done through that one, so still a way away before that can be summoned up again, and Golden Guardians will have to play around it. Remember, Black Shield can still keep him safe. Wild Turtle should be feeling pretty protected overall in these fights. Does have Rage Blade plus Bork, so if he gets that free firing time, health bars will disappear.
Definitely will. And while, you know, there is a significant gold lead for Flyquest right now, they are sitting, you know, about 5K ahead, 5.5, or rather 5.5. You can see now the Ornn upgrades are starting to come through. There's 2 already on Haunter. The Black Cleaver just got upgraded for Deathly. Each of those is worth around 1,000 gold worth of stats. So that is quite a lot of extra gold in their pockets. So the gold lead is lying to you a little bit. It's not quite as bad, perhaps, as it now looks. And every level he's going to be getting, he's going to be upgrading more of those items for his teammates. So something that Flyquest is going to kind of have to take into consideration. They may not be quite as far ahead as they feel.
But Flyquest have definitely been feeling good in this game so far. They've won all the big fights. We'll see if maybe they can find the opportunity to engage here in the lane. Binding comes out, damage goes through. QSS on Ole gets him out of some trouble, but now the follow-up has come around. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble finds its way onto the Golden Guardian support. The follow-up is there. Santorin will not be able to make a play because of the flash coming out from Ole, but now Haunter re-engages. He gets into the CC just in time to get the Ornn in the middle of the fight. Pobelter could be in some trouble here, having to get himself away. Lamb's Spike goes down. Turtle goes on a killing spree. Golden Guardians are going home. Flyquest still have everybody alive.
Yeah, they've got to retreat. They couldn't kill Viper off before the Kindred ultimate had to come out. So Viper just waits that out, then flashes out of there. And in the meantime, Froggen goes down in the front line. This is bad for Golden Guardians. You can see Flyquest going straight over to the Baron. They're going to start this up. They know they have so much control in this game, and you have to walk through through Pobelter and Turtle to try to actually even contest.
You have Bork, Rageblade, Varus. This thing's disappearing. This is not going to last very long at all. Golden Guardians can't go anywhere near it, and that is 27-minute Baron over to the side of Flyquest in game number 5. Golden Guardians will try to salvage this somehow and grab themselves an Infernal Drake. Maybe they can have that as a little bit of a consolation prize. Paddlestar finds its way onto Ole. He blocks it up with the Unbreakable. JJ moving forward, seeing if maybe there's a binding to find. We'll not get anything on that one, but Flyquest still has priority over the mid lane.
This is going to be Inhibitor, I think, just gone down. You know, Haunter is very, very low. Froggen is not there to actually contest this, so they can just walk up, bold as you like, knock down the Inhibitor tower. They will decide to actually back off and pillage some of the jungle here from Golden Guardians. They likely want to spend up some of their gold. You can see that Deathcap gold is actually there for Pobelter. Turtle is sitting on 3K, so they want to do their buys before they actually look for a fight, and they are going to be sitting in such an incredibly powerful position. Here it is one more time. Ole gets rooted up. He QSs is out. But even with that, on one of your tankiest member, Pobelter lands a great sleep onto him, and it is just a full commitment forward. He has to flash out. Everything just being used in retreat. Haunter gets down a pretty solid ultimate here, just barely able to get out of the stun and redirect. But then Froggen diving in onto Pobelter, but there's no follow-up for him. They don't have anyone there to finish it off. And you can see Viper forced out the ulti from Contracts, waits out the Lamb's Respite, then flashes out, so they didn't have enough damage to actually kill him off before that had to be used. And now Golden Guardians up against it. Game 5 here. They were up 2-1 and are so close to getting knocked out in the quarterfinals.
Flyquest started this series off in a pretty rough way. Golden Guardians had a dominating game number 1, but Flyquest bounced back into game 3. Looked a lot like number 1. They survive and win in the slugfest that is number 4. And now here in number 5, they've got an 8,000 gold lead. This is Flyquest's game to win or lose. Ole loses about 2/3 HP there. Tier 2 falls in the bottom lane. Flyquest continue their push up this bottom side, seeing if maybe they can break a second inhibitor turret.
Pobelter has just been a man on a mission this game, just taking over completely. Mid inhibitor likely to fall here. Turtle working away on that. We'll see if they do just finish it off. Here comes the Ornn ultimate.
Ornn Horn coming out, but Morgana Black Shield means Turtle cannot be the target. Contracts jumps over the wall. He won't be able to find much of anything. But with that big engage tool gone, Flyquest just backs away and says, all right, back to the same thing we were doing. Right back onto the mid lane inhibitor, and it is down.
Yep, and Viper's pushing in bot. The wave is already prepped. There's a Baron cannon here as well. The sleep lands.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble comes through. Paddlestar's not going to find the mark. Binding makes its way onto Ole. Nobody wants to dive underneath the turret just for the enemy support. More damage being dealt now onto the tier 3 turret. Into the back line goes Froggen, looking to find the lockdown, looking to find the CC. Lamb's Respite keeps Golden Guardians alive. Vanguard's Edge here into the middle. They're able to find Contract. They're able to find Froggen. Everybody's going to be dropping here now. Flyquest will find their fight. All that is golden will not glitter today. And Flyquest will defeat the Golden Guardians in Game 5.
They're on to the semi-finals here. The comeback victory for Flyquest. Pobelter absolutely taking over in game number 5. 6-0-7 on the Zoe. What a performance.
This series was a war, and the battle that won the war was Game 5. It was Pobelter on the Zoe. He had no deaths, neither did Turtle on this Varus. These guys stepped up, this whole team worked well together, and they demonstrated not only can they play well on the Rift, but outside. The adaptations that they made from game to game allowed them to recover from a bit of a shaky start and seal the deal.
Certainly did. Such an impressive series for them, but also credit to the Golden Guardians. 5 games deep in this series, had their chances very close to taking it, and do still make playoffs for the first time as an organization. So an impressive run for them, but it's Flyquest that will reign supreme today. They're going to be moving on to the semifinals to fight either Team Liquid or Cloud9 based on TL's choice, and that's going to be an exciting series.
That will be Team Liquid's choice to make after they see the results of the victor of the other quarterfinal that will be played out tomorrow. But Flyquest have got to be feeling good about making this win happen here today. I think when they go back and VOD review this later, they're going to be looking at games 1 and 3, seeing what happened, because those were pretty one-sided for the Golden Guardians. But game 2 looked really good. Game 5 looked really good. And in game 4, that's the game I want to go back to time and again, because that's the one that really decided it all. That was the one that was so close. And how they managed to find that collapse and just work together as a team was great.
It really was. And, you know, the rookies certainly having some strong performances. A Viper coming through, you know, really being able to step up. I think he had some very, very good showings here for Flyquest, especially after what was a very shaky start in game number 1, to see him actually have the poise to bounce back in the series, to make some very critical plays for the team when going up against someone who has so much experience like Hanser, who has won championships, who has gone to Worlds, who has done all of that. Very impressive performance, I think, from Viper.
And when you look at 2 out of the 3 wins here for the side of Flyquest, the 2 most convincing wins, Swain and Zoe. Pobelter is this guy that earlier on in the split we talked about, oh, it's cool because he's back on Flyquest. He's not so much in this backup, more of supportive role anymore. He has the chance to take center stage and really put things on his back and carry the games. Those were carry performances, especially on the Swain and Zoe games. And for more on the victory, Avli is standing by with the Flyquest jungler.
Thanks, guys. Santorin, congratulations. That was such a grueling and intense series against Golden Guardians. So how does it feel, and how excited are you to be moving on to semis next week?
I'm so happy right now. There's no words I can describe how happy I am right now. Because I made it this far for so long, and it just means the world to me.
I mean, we heard the Flyquest chants the entire game, the entire day. You have so many people here who are supporting you, and all of your teammates around you, especially after last week, supporting you and holding you up. So what does that mean to you?
I just love my team. They're all great players, and I think we were really confident going into these games. We had some big mishaps in drafts, but eventually we just decided to just kind of YOLO it by just flexing Aurelia, and we hadn't really practiced it that much. And I think just we had a lot of faith in each other, and that's what won us the series.
You know, you played out of your mind today as well as the rest of your team. So I want to wish you, again, congratulations on the win and best of luck moving into semis for next week. So Santorin, please, one more round for him because my goodness. So again, congratulations. And that's us here. Let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you, Avali. We'll have